Hey everybody, this is Merel. I'm just calling in from Canada, and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon here, and I bet it's evening where you are, and I'm so excited to do this. And today is a talk about money, and it's all about taking up space or expanding in order to receive more. And a huge part of that is being a little bit more ballsy, and I'm walking the talk because this is my first Facebook Live, you girls. So I usually get invited by people, and then we do like a split screen or an interview. Hey Michelle, awesome you're there. Awesome. And so I actually never gone live myself, so I just literally had to like figure out the buttons, look where to click, and so here I am. So I've written down a bunch of things that we're going to talk about today, and as I said, it's all about taking up space, because that's something that I struggle with a lot, and I bet a lot of you women struggle a lot with, and it's a huge kind of like a thing that stands in the way when you want to earn more money or you want to book more sales, or it's really necessary to first kind of like expand and be okay with taking up space in your own life, like physically online, in order for you to call in more clients. So let's just start at the beginning. I just want to start with hey Michala, that's a special name. Hi there. So I just wanted to start with a little story, which is quite personal. I'm really decluttering my home, and we're going to just talk about decluttering in a little bit, but I was decluttering. I just recently moved to Canada, and I opened up a box, and I saw this beautiful kind of like a figurine from a ballerina, and she looks beautiful. Nikla. Ah, interesting. So this little ballerina figurine, like I found her in a box. I looked at her and I got really sad. I got that from my mom when I was probably around 5, and we visited Scotland, which is my favorite country in the world. Had a really, really beautiful time there. And then she gave me that ballerina, and the ballerina was really thin. And so I grew up with that standing on like my shelf next to my bed, and somehow that really made a huge, hi Helen, impression on me. I somehow thought that that was like the kind of like the ideal thing to be as a woman, to be that thin and elegant. And so when I kind of was like 13, 14 years old, I got a really bad food disorder, and of course it was all connected with really struggling with taking up space, because obviously when you go into your teens, your breast starts growing, your hips start widening, and if you're not okay with taking up space, that really becomes a huge problem. And I think for us women, it becomes a problem sooner or later. Like, we don't all get food disorders, obviously, but in business, it can be a huge problem too. And I just want to kind of like explain why. When we just moved here to Canada, I became the sole provider for my family. And just to give you a little bit of background, I'm a copywriter. I started less than 2 years ago. First year I made 25K. This year I'm going to break 6 figures. And for next year I've set a really exciting goal of 300K. But I really still struggle with taking up space. And because of that, it's really hard to run and sustainably so, like run a successful business. So while I'm doing Zumba, awesome. Taking up space right there. And so when we just landed here, I was literally walking through the house with my laptop, kind of looking for a place to work, because I wasn't comfortable saying, hey, you know, I'm going to be the sole provider, so I'm going to like take this huge, beautiful office space for myself. And so I bet that a lot of women that are listening right now have kind of like similar issues where, you know, in order to run a successful business, you have to become really comfortable taking up time, taking up space, and if you don't, then, oh my God, like I never done this before, so I see all kinds of hearts loading. That's so nice. Whoever's doing that, thank you so much. Yeah, so if we don't learn to do that, we're really going to run into trouble. So I've kind of laid out a little roadmap here, talking about the things that have really helped me personally, getting super comfortable, taking up that space, creating that role for myself that, you know, really focuses on making the money and having time to do that and space to do that. And that's what I wish for you too. Hi, Kristen. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but you all have beautiful names. So what really kickstarted kind of my journey was reading a book, Money, a Love Story. And I'm going to share a lot of book titles here. I have them all on my desk. But that was kind of like the beginning of my journey into like changing my mindset, my money mindset, and really creating the kind of like life that enables becoming rich, because there are actually a lot of things we can do to influence that. So in that book, she talks a lot about decluttering. And it's really interesting, you know, I just told that story of that little ballerina figurine that I saw in that box, and it really kind of made me sad and remember that, you know, even though I love my mom very much, kind of the model she gave me of female beauty and who to be as a woman kind of really messed things up for me a little bit. Well, I let that figurine go. So after treasuring it for, I don't know, 22 years, I sent it to the thrift store 2 weeks ago. And I did that with a lot of things, you know, and I really want you all to kind of like think about what you have in your space. It's like, this is like the first step. So think about what you have in your space that actually you don't love so much, but that you feel you need to keep. Perhaps because you got it from a parent, or you got it for your wedding, or hi Tara, hi Lisa. Oh, internet cutting up. We'll catch up later. Yeah, Lisa, so nice. Well, you know, drop your questions in the comment section, and I'll answer them. Hi Claire. Oh, this is so nice. We have a group of people. Awesome. So yeah, decluttering. Look at what you have in your space and ask yourself, are you actually really loving it? Or is it something that you feel you need to keep or have kept for so long that you feel like now you can throw it out because you've been carrying it around for 30 years? And if you want to make more money, like start there. That is such a huge thing. You know, when I look back, my own journey going from making absolutely no money. I was a singer before. I struggled for like 6 years. I was like literally singing from Vatican City, worldwide live broadcast, but I still wasn't making any money. And the first thing I did on that like long journey from back then to where I am today was decluttering my house and really letting go of anything that I didn't absolutely love. And now I just moved into the house of my parents-in-law. Like they moved to the city to go with the farm. It's not a working farm, like will be. And so now I have a lot of like decluttering to do again. But to really focus on, am I surrounding myself with the things I actually love? or am I keeping this because I feel I have to? And then you want to become totally and utterly like relentless and let go of anything that's like energetically holding you back. So look at your space first and start decluttering. And if you want to have any great resources on that, like I just mentioned, Kate Northrup, she has an awesome course. It's called Feng Shui for Financial Freedom. So you can just hop over to Google and Google it and have a look and see if it's something for you. But this is a wonderful practice where you look at your space, and every part of your house has a specific like meaning or connotation to it, like symbolically. And so if you start like decluttering the area in your house or beautifying the area in your house that is related to wealth and prosperity, like I have literally experienced where I would do something really beautiful with a new curtain, or in our case, like our bedroom is in the financial or prosperity and wealth corner. So I would make the bed beautifully or put a new cushion on, and I suddenly start like making money like crazy. So this is something where you can take charge today, and it really shifts things. It shifts the energy in your life and allows for more wealth to come in. Oh yeah, the Wi-Fi is playing me up. She says, well, that's so sad. Well, just pop your questions in the comment section and I'll make sure to answer them. So the next thing is, once you've kind of like decluttered your space, next is your own, like the thoughts in your head. Like we want to declutter our brain, literally. So I bet you've all heard about mindset work, and mindset work is really wonderful, but sometimes it kind of like hard understanding where to start and how to make it really, you know, pay off. So what I started doing are a bunch of things to let go of like limiting beliefs and really start clearing the like eternal mental space to make more money, is by doing forgiveness work. So this is something that I learned in Get Rich Lucky Bitch by Denise DeFille Thomas. And here's what I found. So let's say you only have bandwidth for about 10 clients or 10 people that you can, you know, think about and create solutions for. And let's say it's 10. It might be 20 for people. For some, it might be 3. That's totally okay. You know, some people offer high-end services and some people offer courses. So no matter where you are, let's say for theory's sake, you know, you only have bandwidth for 10 people. If you are, you know, resentful to some people that, you know, might have been interested to work with you, but they for some reason didn't actually book you or hire you or purchase your products, you can get really resentful, and those people are taking up bandwidth. Like you're thinking about them, you're obsessing about why it didn't work out. And because those people are taking up bandwidth, you have less space for new clients to flow in. Those seats are taken up by people that are not paying you. So the best thing you can do to create space for new clients to come in is to forgive the people that didn't work with you, or that worked with you and that wanted a refund, or that really kind of like crossed your boundaries in some way. Forgive those people. And I really recommend you buy Denise's book. It's wonderful, Get Rich Lucky Bitch. And she goes into great detail on how to do the forgiveness work. She has a wonderful mantra, and yeah, life-changing. So create space, literally, internally, mentally, for those clients to come in, and let go of anyone who's taking up bandwidth that is not paying you, except your kids and people you love, of course, but you know what I mean. So let's see what else I have on my little list here. Yeah, so what I found really useful was pairing like the reading of money mindset books with meditating. So what I've settled on is a wonderful Joe Dispenza meditation, and he leads you completely like from like what is the emotion you need to give up in order to create more space for good to come into your life, to really envisioning what that life would look like, which is so important. When you want to attract money, you've got to really come from a place of, you know, like feeling it has already happened in order to manifest that. And Joe Dispenza really talks you through that whole experience. So what I do is I read a really inspiring book. Like I can share a bunch here. Like one is You Are Badass at Making Money, Jen Sincero. It's awesome. If you are really struggling with money and you kind of like need to start out on this journey, I always recommend Overcoming Under-Earning by Barbara Stanny. Really talks about kind of overcoming, you know, your tolerance for low pay and your whole kind of perception of what low pay is and what high pay is. And she talks about it as if it's an addiction, which quite frankly, it kind of is, because it influences everything, right? Like when we block our flow, like it completely influences, you know, everything from what we put on the table to the kind of socks we wear to whether we're able to go for a movie. So, you know, it is pretty like intense. If you don't work through your money blocks, like they'll work you. It's kind of like the way I like to put it. So another beautiful book that I'm reading this year is Secrets of Six-Figure Women. It's like, for me, it's the other way around, so I feel like to do this, but it's actually here. Secrets of Six-Figure Women is a book by Barbara Stanny that I'm reading this year, which is really amazing. I'm going to break six figures this year, so perhaps it's the book. Yay! To combine these books with actually doing meditation. So it might be Joe Dispenza. Here's the book that I recommend. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and there is a meditation that he gives with that, and he explains the whole kind of neurological background of like how the brain works and all of that. Once you understand and really, you know, like truly really understand that, you can start like working with your thoughts versus against them. So declutter your house, declutter your thoughts, and then basically the next phase is once you have created like kind of like that white space where you can start like creating and imagining clients coming in, then the boundary conversation will inevitably come up as you start working with your first clients or first higher end clients. I'm just gonna take a sip. Delicious fennel tea. Oh my god. So I've given like 3 interviews today, so my voice is giving out a little bit. Yeah, so boundaries. We talked about it a little bit already. You know, what do you really need, like in your home, in your like family life, when it comes to boundaries? Like, what kind of boundaries do you need to create around your time? Literally your space. So in my case, that was claiming an office. And also when it comes to your role in the family, what needs to shift? What new boundaries do you need to create in order to be able to create a beautiful business? And I worked with an executive coach a couple of months ago, and she said that so many women in corporate never really reach the top because they are not giving up their former role. So when they move from one team to the next, they'll still be available to the old team, and kind of, you know, a lot of their energy flows to the old team, so they won't be like extraordinary in their new role, which then of course causes them to not get a promotion. And it kind of works the same way within our families. I mean, I had to literally get over the fact that I wasn't going to be a mom like my mom used to be. You know, I was raised by a stay-at-home mom. And get over it. Like, get the support team that I needed. I mean, my kids aren't full-time in daycare, but they go to a wonderful lady that, you know, we found. She lives 6 minutes away from us, and the kids are there I don't know, like six hours a day, 4 times a week. And it's incredible. Like I'm able to literally sit here and not have a kid running around the room trying to climb on my lap because I got proper childcare in place. So this is often where a lot of women really get into trouble because we feel we have to be everything to everyone. And if you want to run a successful business, if you want to take that gig to the next level and really start generating some hot cash, then you need to give up your old role and kind of like recreate that role and then look at, okay, what kind of boundaries, like what are the parameters that I can create in my life in order to succeed in business, and really be brutally honest with yourself. What does it take to start a business? How many hours do you need a week? Do you need an office space? Do you need a new computer? Do you need, do you need to invest in some kind of like self-care? It could be an ergonomic assessment. It could be, whatever it is you need. Make a list and then start communicating that with your husband and or partner or whatever. Perhaps you don't have a partner, that's fine too. Start sharing that with the people that are in your life and ask for support. Ask for support, because nobody, that's the fact, nobody is going to create these boundaries for you. And I think a lot of women kind of like hope that other people will come in and save them and say, well, of course you need a desk, and of course, especially when we have a really supportive husband, we might fall into the trap of just like sitting there and wanting to be saved by other people or have other people create those boundaries for us. But it's not going to happen. Like, you have to do it yourself. So get brutally honest, make that list, and start communicating it with the people around you. You might get support and you might not get support, but try and do the best you can. Like, this is what's, for huge part going to decide the success of your business. All right, so let's see what else good stuff I have. Yeah, so once you've set the boundaries at home, the next phase is setting boundaries with clients. Because I remember in the beginning, so started my business in January 2016. I just did everything for my clients. Like, I worked on projects until they were satisfied. Like, there were no contracts, nothing. And that was fine when I had perhaps one client a month. But when I got more clients, it got kind of like, I started to feel like I was like an elephant walking in like the hot sand, being attacked by lions and just kind of like falling over and being eaten alive by my clients. It really got kind of ugly, especially when you're trying to navigate like having a young family and serving your clients, and then like I didn't exist anymore. Like, I was kind of like fading into the woodwork. I had no time for self-care. I thought, now I know I have to make time for self-care. Hard lesson learned. But yeah, so let's just talk about how we can create those boundaries. And the beauty is that it starts like the moment you engage with somebody. So let's say, you are a copywriter or designer and you see a comment in a Facebook group that says, hey, I'm looking for a copywriter, let's say in my case. How are you going to respond? Like, how can you position yourself as a go-to person rather than just like, just like the other 10 people kind of come across as a commodity or someone that's exchangeable. I do that a lot with social proof. So I started commenting to Facebook posts, like sharing some of like incredible results that I've gotten from my clients. So that's definitely an asset you want to think of to set yourself apart from your competitors, is working for a bunch of people and getting those testimonials that share really tangible results, clear before and afters, more like kind of deeper emotions, and start flaunting that like around the internet. So that's a great way to set yourself apart and to kind of like earn the immediate respect that you need in order just to set and maintain clear boundaries throughout like the whole process of working with clients. Another thing is, as I said, when I started out, I didn't send any contracts to people. I just thought like, okay, we're friends, let's do this, you know, and then I got burned, right? So I started using software called 17 Hats, and I can, you know, really recommend it, especially when you're starting out and you're a business of one. It kind of gives you the opportunity to run everything from one app. So your whole onboarding process, the sending of contracts or statement of work, as well as invoicing, making it really easy for clients to do business with you. Because if you want to work with higher end clients, like I do, you know, I work with people like Laura Husson. I think she's from the UK, so you might know her. Those people have very little time. So if you want to up your game and work with higher end people, start implementing those processes in your business that make it really easy to do business with you. And one of them is 17 Hats for sure. So this allows you to send a contract, it gets signed, and then you have a signed contract before you work. And this is not just great for your peace of mind, like that's a huge part, but the client on the other end also respects you more because, you know, you are obviously somebody who takes her time seriously, and then so will she. Same thing with invoicing, you know, instead of sending them like a Word file, send them a proper invoice and they can just like click a button and pay. You know, these are things that kind of get across that you are a serious business owner, so you earn their respect early on in the process. Another thing is kind of like the next step. So we've talked about first clearing, decluttering everything. Then the next phase is setting those clear boundaries. And obviously I'm just kind of like giving you some tips. Like we could talk for hours about just boundaries. And then the next thing is being courageous. So this is where, you know, you first kind of claim your space by decluttering. Then you set your boundaries. So you have, you know, space to expand, and then comes the actual expansion, which is going to allow you to invite more clients into your life, more work, more riches, more good. So here's how I do that. I start my day thinking to myself, you know, what am I most afraid of right now in my business? You know, what am I procrastinating on? And just really making a super honest list. Like you want to be really brutally honest here with yourself. What are you most afraid of in your business right now? It might be, you know, buying a new software and then learning how to use it. Like I've resisted doing Facebook Lives for years, even though I love talking, because I thought for some reason that I had to like download a whole app and then learn how to use it and, I don't know, pay for things. Like that's such a bad thing, right? Actually, no, that's a good thing. Don't take that seriously. So I resisted those things, and like a couple of weeks ago, I really sat down with myself on, you know, like I usually do, and was brutally honest and said to myself, okay, I'm really afraid of going live. I'm really afraid of, you know, sending consistent newsletters. Like I'm not really comfortable using my email provider software, so I don't really send out those emails that are just sitting there waiting to be sent. Or what else am I afraid of? Oh yeah, I didn't have a Facebook page. So I have a huge following within B-School of people that always love my posts, and they are huge fans, and they always reply and all of that good stuff. I had no Facebook page, so potentially, like literally, like hundreds of leads just kind of like ended up in limbo because they didn't really know how to get in touch with me or follow me. So I could monetize my following that I actually worked on for 2 years. So I said to myself, okay, what needs to happen in order to really take on those couple of things that I'm really afraid of? And I started to just draw up a plan, a step-by-step plan, and started following it. So now I have a Facebook page. Obviously, I'm doing lives, but I've also bought lead pages. So I'm gonna create like beautiful freebies and put them up on my Facebook page, and I hire a web designer to put them up on my website. So that next step, like, what does that look like for you? Like, what are you most afraid of? Oh, thank you, Claire. I really needed to hear that. Oh my God, that's so nice. Yeah, just like ask yourself, what are you most afraid of? Make that list and then start breaking it down into little steps. Like, what can you do today to make that happen? And then go from there. Yeah, you know, like, you might be really afraid to do outreach to people. You know, you might feel most afraid of sending those little personal messages saying, hey, you know, you were interested in working with me. Is now the time. You know, you might feel you don't want to come across as needy or pushy or salesy. But the fact remains that if you want to work higher end, basically, you know, work with clients that are going to pay you $5K or $10K or $15K per project, rather than you know, people that are going to pay you $100 to like set up an entire Facebook page, or you know, whatever you do. You need to be an energetic match in courage. So let me just explain this. If who you are being on a daily basis is courageous and generous and, you know, just out there, then the people that are ready to make those kinds of investments, which is scary, people are scared of being, you know, investing that much money in copywriting services or business coach or whatever you do. But at that moment, you become an energetic match to those people. Those people are also ready to be as courageous and out there as you are. And that's when you start by kind of like effortlessly attracting people that are ready to invest more money in you. So that's where I want to leave you today, is really thinking about, who am I being every day and who do I want to be? And don't be bogged down by, you know, the fact that you might not get immediate results, but really stick to it. So be that really courageous, generous person that, you know, you would love to attract as a client. And eventually, if you believe that it's already done, they'll come. That's my promise, and that's where I'm going to leave you today. So that was my first Facebook Live. Thank you for giving me the opportunity and being here with me. If you have any questions, I'll be hanging around for a little bit in the group, and feel free to ask me anything. See you soon.